One of the most interesting times in the life of the children of Israel was after they occupied the land of Israel. During that time, they were ruled by judges, and one of the most fascinating of those judges was Samson. We're in the area of the Sorek Valley, and Samson going down to Timnah. So we're going to talk today about Samson's rebellion against his family. I'm going to read from Judges chapter 14. Now Samson went down to Timnah and saw a woman in Timnah of the daughters of the Philistines. Timnah's in our background. So he went up and told his father and mother, saying, I have seen a woman in Timnah of the daughters of the Philistines. Now therefore get her for me to be a wife. Then his father and mother said to him, Is there no woman among the daughters of your brethren, or among all the people, that you must go and get a wife from the Philistines? And Samson said to his father, Get her for me, for she pleases me well. But his father and mother did not know that it was of the Lord. He was seeking an occasion to move against the Philistines, for at the time the Philistines had dominion over Israel. So Samson went down to Timnah with his father and mother, and came to the vineyards of Timnah. Now to his surprise a young lion came roaring against him, and the Spirit of the Lord came upon him mightily, and he tore the lion apart as one would have torn apart a young goat, though he had nothing in his hand. But he did not tell his father, his mother, or his mother what he had done. Then he went down and talked with the woman, and she pleased Samson well. After some time, when he returned to get her, he turned aside to see the carcass of the lion, and behold, a swarm of bees and honey were in the carcass of the lion. He took some of it in his hands and went along eating. When he came to his father and mother, he gave some to them, and they also ate. But he did not tell them that he had taken the honey from the carcass of the lion. So his father went down to the woman, and Samson gave a feast there, for the young men used to do so. And it happened when they saw him that they brought 30 companions to be with him. Then Samson said to them, Let me pose a riddle to you. If you can correctly solve and explain it to me within the 7 days of the feast, then I will give you 30 linen garments and 30 changes of clothing. But if you cannot explain it to me, then you shall give me 30 linen garments and 30 changes of clothing. And they said to him, Pose your riddle that we may hear it. So he said to them, Out of the eater came something to eat, and out of the strong something sweet. Now for 3 days they could not explain the riddle. Then he goes on and explains about his wife talking to him, and eventually he explains the riddle, and she tells it to the Philistines, and then they win the battle. So after 7 days they said to him, What is sweeter than honey, and what is stronger than a lion? And he said to them, If you had not plowed with my heifer, you would not solve my riddle. Then the Spirit of the Lord came mightily upon him, and he went down to Askelon, and killed 30 of their men, and took their clothing and changes of garments, and explained the riddle, gave it to those who explained the riddle. He went back up to his father's house, and Samson's wife was given to his companion, who had been his best man. So here we have part of the story of the life of Samson and his rebellion, and going down to Timnah to marry a wife of the Philistines. And now, here is Arie to explain to us more about Samson and his life.
We've just heard about Samson's rebellion. Where you find it? Somebody can read it and say, I don't see any rebellion here. But let us remember. You remember that he was not allowed, according to Numbers 6, not only to drink wine, but even to go through a vineyard, not to touch a grape, not to eat grape, not to eat raisins. Look, the first thing. We are now seeing under us the vineyards of Sorek Valley. All the greens lines that you see all around are the vineyards. Now you can find your way between vineyards. You don't have to cross through a vineyard. But what the Bible said that Samson went through a vineyard, right? Which is number one. Why Samson? More than this, what he found there in the vineyard, he heard a roaring lion, Kfir Arayot. He ran to him as if, all his power was waiting, right? And he was tearing it, actually killing him. Now this is a problem, because you remember what is one of the 3 regulations of a Nazarite? He should not touch any dead body, right? And here is with the lion. Not only this, when he comes back, he goes to the carcass of a dead body of the lion, and what he's doing is taking honey with his hands, and he goes all the way up here, and he just gives his father and mother, he gives them a gift. Come on, father, mother, I have a gift for you. But he didn't tell them where he took the honey, from the dead body of the lion. So you see here, there is a kind of 2 stories in this man. I mean, from one side, the Spirit of God is on him. No doubt, it's written again and again. On the same time, you see that he said, let me revenge. After the Philistine found his riddle, what he said, let me revenge against them. We will find this word again in the life of Samson, let me revenge. At the end, when he will be in Gaza, and before he will destroy the temple in Gaza of Dagon, what he will say, let me have revenge at least of one of my eyes. You know, a man of God cannot talk this way. When David saw Goliath, what did he say? Let me fight against the one that talked badly to God of Israel. Let me fight one, the circumcised, that mocked God of Israel. It's not a private revenge. You see, it's something above this.